Making this video for anyone that's on the fence about getting an F-150 Raptor Gen 2, and I've seen a couple people in the Raptor groups who are on the fence about buying one, of whether they should get something like a non-Raptor F-150 like you see beside me, or if they should get a Gen 2, or wait and save money and get a Gen 3. So 1 month exactly before I bought my Gen 2, I test drove a brand new Gen 3 at the dealership, and it sounded fantastic. It rode really well. The touchscreen and the new dash system looks really, really nice. But then I test drove the Gen 2, and I realized that for significantly less money, it is going to meet all of my needs. Now, first, let's talk about F-150 versus F-150 Raptor. Then we'll talk about Gen 2 versus Gen 3. So if you just want a truck for the utility of having the space of a truck and a truck bed, and you want to not do any off-roading, you just want a truck, go for an F-150. If you have no reason to get the Raptor, do not get the Raptor. If you don't care about the speed, if you don't really care about going off-roading, if you don't care about Baja stuff, don't get the Raptor. If you want to tow or use the bed for a heavier payload, get the regular F-150. Do not get a Raptor if you don't need a Raptor. Okay, the inside is very, very similar. The sound is kind of similar. The performance is very different on a Raptor. But if you're not going to use the Raptor for what it is, don't overpay for it. That's my number one thing. It just doesn't make sense. I know some people who have Raptors who have never ever taken them off road, and then they complain that it gets 15 miles to the gallon. It just doesn't make sense. So if you don't need a Raptor, don't get a Raptor and then complain about it, okay? You can still get a Raptor, do whatever you want, it's your money. Just don't get a Raptor and then complain about it. That's number one. If you do want a Raptor, because you're gonna be off-roading, you absolutely love the look. You would love the idea of having this beautiful, aggressive-looking truck that handles pretty well on-road and can do off-road stuff. You can have 1,200 pounds of payload, you could tow up to 8,000 pounds, yada, yada. If you are waiting to save up for a Gen 3, think about why. Why do you want to spend more money on a Gen 3 if it's not for the new suspension? Now, if it's for the exhaust sound, and you think the Gen 3 sounds better than the Gen 2, which it absolutely does, you can do exhaust mods like the SPD trombone on the Gen 2 Raptor, and it can still sound very good. I would say just as good as the Gen 3. If you want the suspension, then of course go for the Gen 3. If you're like me and you really just wanted the bigger touchscreen and you wanted the gauges, I can promise you that the fun of the Gen 2 Raptor and the savings of like $10,000 to $20,000 greatly makes up for the fact that I don't have the big touchscreen and I don't have digital gauges. Guess what? I no longer care. This truck is just as fun as a Gen 3 Raptor. I test drove my friend's Gen 3, which is fully loaded with a 37 package. By the way, he's getting like 12 miles per gallon. Then I test drove the brand new Gen 3 at the dealer. They wanted a $20,000 markup on top of the $80,000 MSRP, which was absolutely insane. And then I bought this Gen 2 pre-owned, and it has been fantastic. It is super fun. So I'm just letting you know that if you're on the fence and you're like, oh, maybe I should wait to be able to afford a Gen 3, unless you're going crazy intense off-roading and you're jumping and you want the rear coil set up, just get a Gen 2. I promise you will be super happy that you did. You will have to wait less time to get it. You will pay less money to own it. Your registration will be lower. Your insurance might be lower on a Gen 2 versus a Gen 3 just based on the cost and the year of the model now. And you will get used to the sync system here. This screen is not bad. I think it's an 8-inch screen. When I plug in for CarPlay, it's solid. There are wireless CarPlay adapters for like $100 or $200, so you can get wireless CarPlay. You still have all the fancy features like the 360 camera. You have blind spot monitoring. You have active lane cruise. You have paddle shifters when you're in manual mode, and it's not up to temp right now, so I'm not going to do a poll, but when you put it into sport mode or Baja mode when you're off-road, this thing is a ton of fun. The suspension is great off-road. I highly recommend the Raptor Gen 2. If you have any questions, let me know in a comment down below. If you're curious about fuel economy, I'll just show you real quick. On this truck, I've driven it since I bought it, 1,600 miles. I've done 15.6 miles per gallon on average. Keep in mind, I do have a tonneau cover, and I'm on 33s. I'm on method wheels with 33-inch tires. So that's my little Raptor take for the guys who have asked if they should get a Gen 3 or just get the Gen 2 that they can afford now or just get a regular F-150. Hope it helped. Peace.